Stephen Colbert made up a bunch of fan fiction. They did. Made up a bunch of fan fiction. This is the interview Donald Trump didn't want you to see. His FCC refused to air my interview with Stephen Colbert. Trump is worried that we're about to flip Texas. So let's watch this. We'll see what happened.
James Tallarico.
I don't really know this guy that well.
There you go.
Thank you.
Now, here's the thing. I don't usually say this to a guest, but if people are watching this right now, it's because they found us online on YouTube. I did an act of the show that's on tonight explaining why. It's not the first time you've caused some drama. FCC opening probe into The View after appearance by Tallarico. Do you mean to cause trouble?
I think that Donald Trump is worried that we're about to flip Texas.
So that's it. So this guy, they basically went out and said, let me see if I can pull this up. Where's the video if I can find it? Stephen Colbert, where the fuck did it go? Yeah, there it is. Pulled from TV over FCC equal time. And so our campaign raised $2.5 million, etc. And, oh, here we go. This is the FCC talking about it.
You had a Democrat candidate who understood the way that the news media works. And he took advantage of all of your sort of prior conceptions to run a hoax, apparently for the purpose of raising money and getting clicks. And the news media played right into it. I think yesterday was a perfect encapsulation of why the American people have more trust in gas station sushi than they do in the national news media. And this was very plainly an effort ginned up to get clicks and to raise money. And you guys ate it up like slop. And when it was pointed out that the facts were completely different than what the fake news media was running with, nobody did like an about face and did a fact correction. They just pivoted and moved away. And again, I think this is why the American people simply don't trust the news media anymore.
They just make up bullshit. That's the reason why. So basically, he tried to put out a narrative that Donald Trump tried to shut down this interview for whatever reason. And it was so bad, and it's so embarrassingly not true. Even Jasmine Crockett comes out and called them out for this. That's how bad this is.
We did receive information suggesting that the federal government did not shut down this segment. Number one, that is my understanding, that the federal government didn't shut this down, and we will do an official statement once we get another official statement that we anticipate is going to be coming from Paramount. All right, so we will read what they say, and then we'll go from there. It is our understanding that Colbert, either Mr. Colbert or CBS, decided to make this statement clear. And this was because of a fear that the FCC may say something to them, and that there may have been advice to just have me on, and then they could clear the issue. It was my understanding that someone somewhere decided we just don't want to do that, and instead we're going to just do it this way.
So basically, even she's coming out saying that this isn't true. And you have all these people. CBS refused to air this Colbert report with Democrat James Tallarico, who's running for Senate, after being intimidated by Trump's FCC rules. Share it everywhere. This has 86,000 likes. Oh boy. And we'll go back. I'll read a few more of these here. But before I do it, a little neat trick. Federal law since 1932 required broadcast media to give equal time to competing political candidates, but Colbert only wanted to platform Tallarico and not the other opponents. So he interviews Tallarico, but releases the video online only. Everyone who sees it thinks that it aired on the show. Colbert doesn't have to give them equal time because he has virtually no TV viewers anyway, and he reaches his maximum audience. Meanwhile, Tallarico falsely claims that he's being censored and gets free publicity 2 weeks out of his primary election, claiming that almost a century of federal law is somehow President Trump's fault. Wow, how about that? So Brian retard, yeah, people just making up some fucking bullshit again. And so Stephen Colbert addresses, so CBS actually went out and made a statement about this. Well, let's listen to her talk about it again. Because, so Jasmine Crockett actually came out and said, no, actually, Trump didn't do anything wrong. It's not even true.
They name-checked you. I mean, they said this. The show was provided legal guidance that the broadcast could trigger the FCC equal time rule for two other candidates.
That's what CBS
including
said.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah.
What do you make of that explanation?
And this has been the law for 100 years, since 1932. Okay, well, only 95 years.
We actually received a phone call, and that was a little bit earlier today. And in that call, they explained that they actually told CBS that they could go ahead and move forward with the interview of James Tallarico. They just needed to offer me equal time. I did not get a request from the Colbert Show to go on. As you know, I've been on Colbert.
They're so fucking retarded. They've got you siding with Jasmine Crockett. That's crazy.
Bear multiple times, and frankly, and you know,
Wow.
if we would have gotten an offer, that would have been great. But we're in the middle of early voting, so I'm kind of focused on being in Texas at this moment.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know what to believe. That's for sure. But I got that phone
She's
call.
just mad she didn't get her time? No, she's responding to what they said. She's not, no. This isn't her coming out complaining. This is Colbert and this other guy bringing up this, like, making up a false narrative that then indirectly paints her in a bad light. She didn't even do anything.
As I was out talking to voters.
That's it. So there's so many things to talk to you about again, but they called you today, but
Yeah.
they decided not to air the interview last night.
Right.
You've been on Colbert a number of times, as you just said. Did you have any issue?
So there it is. And I completely agree. Sorry, I read it poorly. What happened to her accent? Oh, well, she's not trying to perform, right? That's it. Tallarico gives me Antichrist vibes. I'll watch a little bit of it and see what happens. Colbert is such a fucking slimeball. He fabricated the entire thing. Stop making me defend Jasmine Crockett. That's right, guys. It's actually that bad. And so Stephen Colbert, let me see actually. So CBS comes out because Stephen Colbert makes up this entire narrative. And I guess maybe he thought that, this is him talking about it. Okay, let's watch this first and then we'll watch CBS's response.
Not one of my guests tonight. That's Texas State Representative James Tallarico. He was supposed to be here, but we were told in no uncertain terms by our network's lawyers, who called us directly, that we could not have him on the broadcast. Then
Complete misrepresentation. Total misrepresentation.
I was told in some uncertain terms that not only could I not have him on, I could not mention me not having him on.
Wow.
And because my network clearly doesn't want us to talk about this, let's talk about this.
Dude, so you didn't want to follow the federal law, the almost 100-year-old federal law, and you're inventing a total fucking narrative about how they didn't want this guy on, and now you're pushing it against not only the FCC that aren't doing anything wrong, but also your own network too. This is crazy. Why would you do this? Very female coded. So true, sis. Oh, so true. You know, bro, the nastiest, cattiest bitch would absolutely do this. You're totally right.
You've probably heard.
You're right. No, you're right. It's true.
You might have heard of this thing called the equal time rule, okay? It's an old FCC rule that applies only to radio and broadcast television.
And what are you doing?
Not cable or streaming, that says if a show has a candidate on during an election, they have to have all that candidate's opponents on as well.
Yes.
It's the FCC's most time-honored rule right after no nipples at the Super Bowl.
So then now he's trying to make a joke out of it in order to make it seem like they're not holding it accountable and in order to, like, downplay its significance.
There's long been an exception for this rule, an exception for news interviews and talk show interviews with politicians. Now, that's crucial.
Yes.
How else were voters supposed to know back in 92 that Bill Clinton sucked at saxophone?
He did not. Shut up, you idiot. You fucking retard. What are you talking about? He was so cool. What are you talking about? This guy was awesome. Slick Willie, that's what they say. Boomers unironically felt. I mean, to be fair, this was cool. It was cool, man. This is the motherfucking president. Man. The big man, there it is, right? He used to be so cool. So you're going to go around and you're going to say that he sucked at saxophone?
Voters supposed to know back in 92 that Bill Clinton sucked at saxophone.
Shut up, bro. Like, what are you even... You didn't have to do that.
But on January 21st of this year, a letter was released by FCC chairman and smug bowling pin Brendan Carr. In this letter, Carr said he was thinking about dropping the exception for talk shows because he said some of them were motivated by partisan purposes.
I've got a really funny fact for you guys. You guys want to see it? Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at this little funny fact about it being partisan. So, my understanding is that since its inception, Stephen Colbert has had over 150 Democrat politicians on, and he's had one Republican politician on. Huh. X is down? Is that it? Yeah, that's crazy. How about that? X is down? Yeah, so he just making shit up. Yeah, it's motivated by partisan purposes because it is. Like, you're absolutely not biased? Yeah, he's totally fucking biased. Yeah, and it was Liz Cheney. That's right. That's who it was. It was Liz Cheney was the Republican that he brought on his show. So he just making a bunch of bullshit on. How many Democrats has right-wing radio gotten on? You can say right-wing radio is like I don't even. What is your argument? So I'm saying that Stephen Colbert is partisan. And then you say, well, what about partisan radio? Are you some kind of a retarded? What are you doing? What the hell's wrong with you?
Well, sir, you're chairman of the FCC, so FCCU.
It's so stupid. This Stephen Colbert used to be so cool. He used to be so cool. And now he's not. Holy cortisol spike? I know.
Because I think...
No, guys, no.
Because I think...
know I'm being serious. I've got to make a big point here. No, we can't play music. No, this is really important.
You are motivated by partisan purposes yourself. Sir, you smelt it because you dealt it. You are Dutch ovening America's airwaves. Let's just call this what it is. Donald Trump's administration wants to silence anyone who says anything bad about Trump on TV because all...
If that's true, then why are you on the show? You've been on the show for fucking years. You said Donald Trump was sucking Putin's dick, and this was like 8 years ago. You've been on TV forever, man. Like, what do you mean? Like, god damn. Like, what are you talking about? Not cool, he's not sharing your political values? Well, no. I mean, I think that, like, I think that the Colbert Show was way funnier. I think he had way better charisma. He had way better guests on the show. He was less sanctimonious. I think he was more entertaining. The jokes were better. Like, I mean, I think there's a lot more to this than just simply, oh, I disagree with them. No, it's a lot more complicated than that. So anyway, I see him do this and say this shit. It's fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. And the thing is that a lot of these late night TV shows are partisan. They are unabashedly partisan. If you look at Jimmy Kimmel is going to, or maybe it's Jimmy Fallon, I forget which one, is going to like media fundraisers for Democrats. Like, it's not like these people are like just funny guys that are just there to tell jokes. No, they're there to patronize and tell people what to think. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, bad take. I'm going to pull you up. You're getting pulled up right now. Give me a minute. Oh, Stephen Colbert was never funny. I don't want to argue with you about that. Okay, yeah, that's fine. It's just my opinion. Monopriest, yeah, no, it's all right.
All Trump does is watch TV. Okay? Yeah. He's like a toddler with too much screen time. He gets cranky and then drops a load in his diapers. So it's no surprise that two of the people most affected by this threat are me and my friend Jimmy Kimmel. When this letter dropped...
Yeah, because you guys are partisan and everybody knows you're partisan. Like, it's obvious that you're partisan. You push politics constantly. Trump is the main thing that you talk about. You're constantly pushing against him. You obviously advocate for Democrats pretty much universally. Like, it's obvious that you're doing this. Like, I don't know why. Just say that you're doing it. Like, it's so weird that, like, we have to... Like, why are you even playing this game? Everybody knows this is what's happening.
We both talked about the letter on air, and then later, Carr defended it like this.
If Kimmel or Colbert want to continue to do their programming and they don't want to have to comply with this requirement, then they can go to a cable channel or a podcast or a streaming service, and that's fine.
Great idea, man whose job is to regulate broadcast TV. Suggest everyone just leave broadcast TV.
That's what he was saying, yeah. That's exactly it.
It's like when Arby's changed their slogan to, Arby's, would it kill you to eat a salad? Anyway, am I being clear? Have I been clear so far?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, this one up, super important. Okay, anyway, I decided to take Brendan Carr's advice. I am going to interview James Tallarico tonight, but...
Well, you're also taking his advice by leaving the media because your show's getting canceled too. Don't forget about that.
It's not going to be on The Late Show. It's going to be on The Late Show's YouTube page. The network says I can't give you URL or a QR code, but I promise you, if you go to our YouTube page, you'll find it. Now,
Jesus Christ. So the entire narrative was fabricated by him. And then he came out and did this. He threw his network under the bus. He made Jasmine Crockett, like, basically have to come out and make a statement about this. He also lied to his audience. He bullshitted everybody about this. So CBS just threw Stephen Colbert under the bus and says he lied when the network spiked his interview with James Tallarico. The late night show was not prohibited by CBS from broadcasting the interview with Representative James Tallarico. The show was provided legal guidance that the broadcast could trigger the FCC equal time rule for the other candidates, including Representative Jasmine Crockett, and presented options for how the equal time for other candidates could be fulfilled. The Late Shows decided not to present the interview through its YouTube channel with on-air promotion on the broadcast rather than potentially providing the equal time options. So that's basically, and then so Stephen Colbert comes back and he responds to this. He addresses the CBS statement, which he says that he was not consulted on. Why the fuck would they consult you on this? Like, you just made up a bunch of bullshit about them. Like, he says, I'm just so surprised that this giant global corporation would not stand up to these bullies. For the lawyers to release this without talking to me is really surprising. Didn't you just release this without talking to them? You just threw them under the bus, and now you're surprised that they're saying, well, that's not what happened. Like, so you lied about them, and then you act like you're the victim whenever they correct the lie. This is the craziest thing. How is this even real? You probably have one of people watch the old guy. I don't know. Like, let me see. How long is the interview? Let's see how long it is. If it's less than, it's 15 minutes. Okay, we'll watch the interview. And I'll see what he's saying, and we'll see if it was worth airing or not. It's 50. It's terrible. That's okay. We'll look at it. We'll see what it is. It's not a big deal. These people are too high up. He's liberal. Did you expect different? Well, he's making a bunch of bullshit. A lot of people are, spoiler, it's not worth it. Is it that bad? Check the dislikes. It's going to be on his own channel. People are going to like the interview, right? Yeah, everybody liked it. Yeah, sure. But people really don't want to see this. Wow. I'm surprised, actually. Don't platform his lying ass. Like, I don't even get this. So then he made up a bunch of
Not one of my
bullshit.
guests tonight. That's Texas.
Let me at least see a couple of clips, right? I want to at least see a couple of clips of what he's saying. I think that's fair. I'm curious. He's hard to listen to? I don't know that because I haven't listened to him. Let me go back. I'll see where the fuck it is. And, is this one of them? Trump? No, there's this. Well, okay, here we go. There's a couple of these right here, right? And is there anything else beyond this? Okay. Well, at least watch this one. It's a 1-minute clip. I've never heard this guy talk. I've never heard him say anything. Let's hear what he's saying.
Well, for 50 years, the religious right, a political movement, that is the perfect description for it. They convinced a lot of our fellow Christians that the most important issues were abortion and gay marriage. Two issues that aren't mentioned in the Bible, two issues that Jesus never...
I mean, do you think that Jesus would want abortions? I mean, I'm pro-choice, but, like, I don't think Jesus would be. Like, I mean, obviously, right? I mean, like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about?
Never talked about.
Of course he didn't talk about they didn't talk about the internet in the Bible either. Like,
Jesus in Matthew 25 tells us exactly how you and I and every one of our fellow believers, how we're going to be judged and how we're going to be saved. By feeding the hungry, by healing the sick, by welcoming the stranger. Nothing about going to church, nothing about voting Republican.
Yeah.
It was all about how you treat other people. Don't. I've said before, don't tell me what you believe. Show me how you treat other people, and I'll tell you what you believe. And I think in our faith, we've got to get back to those fundamentals. My granddad was a Baptist preacher in South Texas.
Oh boy!
And when I was little, he told me that Christianity is a simple religion. Not an easy religion, he would always clarify, but a simple religion because Jesus gave us two commandments, love God and love neighbor. And there was no exception to that second commandment. Well,
there's somebody as far away isn't your neighbor. Like, I mean, duh. Right? So, like, yeah, I think you're supposed to help your neighbor, but you're not supposed to help the guy on the other side of the world. Like, I mean, fucking obviously. I mean, it's common sense.
Love thy neighbor regardless of race or gender or sexual orientation or immigration status or religious affiliation. And it's why I have fought so hard for the separation of church and state in this.
Wait a minute. You just spent a minute and a half explaining why the Bible says that people should vote for you, but now you're talking about separation of church and state? What the hell are you talking about?
State capital in Texas because
Oh my God. Well, anyway, so what do I think about this? I think this is your typical Christian, like basically heretic slop. That's what I think. Jesus didn't say anything about abortions. I wonder what Jesus would think about abortions. Like, really, let's think about this for 3 seconds. What would Jesus think about abortions? And this is coming from somebody who I think you should be able to get abortions. But if you ask me what Jesus would think, I think he'd probably say they're bad. It's the same as like, what would Jesus think about sharing pictures of underage girls on the internet? I bet he'd probably say that was bad. Oh, but it wasn't in the Bible. Yeah, that doesn't matter. Like, you think about everything else. You use some context clues and think about it rather than trying to insert your own politics into the fucking Bible. It's insane. Like, oh, would Jesus want you to make deep fakes of people against their consent? Well, he never said against that in the Bible, so I guess it must be okay. There's a million fucking examples of things that Jesus didn't talk about. Jesus said AK-47s must be okay because they weren't in the Bible. This is the dumbest argument that you can possibly use. And on top of that, like, and all of this is underpinned by the idea that maybe we shouldn't base the way that we do things off of a religion. There should be a logical reason, and if there's a religious component to that, that's nice that there's that too, but it should not be the main focus. So what would Jesus do about Skid Row and all the homeless people there? He would help the homeless people in Skid Row before he went over and brought over a bunch of illegals from Mexico. That's the problem, is that you can't even deal with the homeless people that are in America, but you have this idea that it's a good thing to keep bringing in illegals to from another country. Like, I don't think anybody disagrees that Jesus would very easily say that if everybody in America was taken care of, that we have an obligation to help the rest of the world. I think this is a very easy Christian logical conclusion that you can make, and I think that it's accurate, and I think that's totally fine. But the problem is that whenever you're making this assumption like basically in place of making this for your actual, your countrymen, because again, everything exists inside of a spectrum, right? So like, you're going to care about yourself, you're going to care about your family, you're going to care about your friends, you're going to care about your community, you're going to care about your country, you're going to care about the world. This is the way that everything works, and it's the way that even, anybody would see this. So the problem is that, the care map, exactly. So the problem is that whenever you're misappropriating what I think to be, Christian scripture and, Christian ideology to try to force people to accept illegal aliens, I think it's just ridiculous, and it's totally unfair because, again, if you're supposed to love your neighbor, then why are you having your neighbor have to compete with an illegal alien for their house? It doesn't make any sense. And the problem is, like, it's this misappropriation and this misleading behavior that I think is a huge problem. It's a massive issue. And so, there's some other one. And also gay marriage. I mean, I don't think people really care a lot about gay marriage. But fascism is here. CBS is dead. It's fascist? This is a law that's been these people are so fucking hysterical. It's unbelievable. Oh my God. It's virtue signaling and moral grandstanding. I think so too. Gotta love fake Christians, same as Muslims. Well, the problem is that this is the issue that I have with people like I don't know if I really have an issue with James Tallarico. I don't really know him that well. I've seen one clip. I disagree with what he's saying in the clip. But the one thing that I don't like about what he was saying is that I think a lot of people work backwards from scripture. Is that they have their political viewpoints and they have their political goals, and then they appropriate scripture and religious texts in order to reinforce those political goals and those political viewpoints. And I think that is a backwards way of looking at religion. I think that what you should do is you should look at what the religion says, and you should see how your political viewpoints fit into the religion, rather than seeing your political viewpoints and trying to fit the religion around those. I think it's disrespectful to the religion, and I think that it's also dishonest, and in some cases, like what I think he's saying about abortion, I think it's basically heresy. It is. Like, I mean, it's saying that Jesus wouldn't care, like the implication is that Jesus wouldn't care about abortions. What are we talking about here? It's just such a blatant lie. I don't even know why you would say it. Selective religious principles? Yes, exactly. It's heretic slop. Yes, it's brain dead, libtard, Christian heretic slop. Absolutely.